Who is this long-nosed man? Of course, fans of the Persona series know him as Igor, and ever since 1996, he has served as the franchise's unofficial mascot. In the games, his role is to aid the protagonists in their journey by creating new personas for them, which they use to defeat their foes. And that's about it. Right? What if I told you there's a whole other side to Igor I bet you never knew about? Secret origins in strange, long-forgotten places, and hidden in some obscure Japanese books I had to import that. Today, the true origins of the Mindmancer Igor are surrounded by mystery no longer, as we uncover the hidden lore of Igor. But first, let's start with the basics. In the gulf of human consciousness, there resides a room. A velvet room. Its existence is a spatial anomaly, meaning its entrance can appear in multiple places at once, and can change form depending on its guest's disposition. The room's proprietor is Igor, a tall, lanky man in a black suit, possessing a rather long nose and an abundance of manners. He greets his guests with an enduring kindness, and performs a series of rituals to grant new personas to the heroes. And throughout the franchise, he has done this in a variety of ways. In the first persona, he uses a device called the Evil Phone. Sounds cooler in Japanese, just trust me. A device made entirely of bone with the symbol for demon on the back, which Igor holds in his holster. When he needs to fuse, he dials the numbers on the back of spell cards. The party gathers to literally call the demon world and ask for a persona. When performing a double fusion, he dials both numbers in the blink of an eye. Do you see him? Exactly, you can, he's just that fast. In Persona 2 Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment, the fusion system was simplified, and to explain why, the director jokingly comments that maybe Igor forgot how to combine spell cards, or his phone is malfunctioning, but he does appear to still have it with him during the summoning seance. In Persona 3 and 4, he ditches the phone entirely and instead opts to use a magic summoning circle instead when fusing. And in the latest Persona 5, he's become a bit lazy with old age and just has his attendants perform the ritual in his stead. And for most Atlus fans, this is nothing new. After all, Igor is the third weird old guy in a room that fuses stuff. But outside his appearance, there's always been something a bit odd to me about Igor. Like I'd seen him somewhere before. And one night, as I sat in my room, fusing away with the aria of the soul in my ears and blue glow of the velvet room hitting my face, the distant memory of another Igor appeared in my mind's eye. A memory not of nostalgia, but fear, as a shrill screech woke and petrified a younger me who dozed off watching the wrong TV channel one night. As I desperately searched for the remote to change the late-night movie, there he was. Another Igor. So I ask again, who is this long-nosed man? For years I've talked about the Persona series online, and in doing so I've poured hours and hours into these games and naturally learned a lot about them. But despite being fairly knowledgeable about these titles, there was still something I didn't quite understand. Why I had a feeling of unease when entering that blue room. Igor was connected to that movie I saw by accident as a kid. I knew he had to be, but was the movie even real? Maybe it was just a dream I had, and my mind just associates the two. But to know for certain, and rid myself of this enduring deja vu, I went on a journey. A journey to learn absolutely anything, and everything there was to know about Igor, hoping to find even a small clue, which was surprisingly difficult. Despite his role of mascot, there's very little recorded information about Igor that is translated to English. But to be thorough, I replayed every single game, pored over every interview I could find, and even read through each and every Persona art book for information.
Dude, why do they draw her in her underwear? That doesn't happen in the game or the show.
And after a lot of hard work, my biggest lead into Igor's origins was Twin Peaks. A cult classic TV murder mystery about a small town, where a certain high school girl is having a really bad time, to put it lightly. And we know for certain Atlus in the 90s were big fans, stating themselves the Velvet Room in the first Persona was based on Twin Peaks' Black Lodge. Both rooms are extra-dimensional locations, with a patterned floor and velvet curtains. Even the name of Persona's fusing room is a nod to another David Lynch work, Blue Velvet, which stars a lounge singer, which clearly inspired Persona's Belladonna. But the comparisons don't stop there. In fact, the entire plot of Twin Peaks revolves around one 17-year-old girl's sorrow, creating a butterfly effect that impacts an entire town. Not too different from the inciting incident of the first Persona. Well, there are a few differences. After all, Agent Dale Cooper doesn't have a shootout with a horde of haunted toilets. Oh yeah, slight spoilers for Twin Peaks. Now. Instead of hunting down Hanako-san, the show's protagonist, FBI agent Dale Cooper, arrives in Twin Peaks to solve the murder of Laura Palmer. And while going down his own rabbit hole of clues and conspiracies, he enters the Black Lodge one night while streaming. And behind the curtains, who does he find but the recently deceased girl, but also the man from another place in a red suit. But saying man from another place, because that is his name in the credits, like it's a mouthful, so I'll just let him introduce himself.
I am the arm, and I sound like this.
Resident of the Black Lodge, the Arm has an uncanny resemblance to Igor. He's an odd-looking fellow who sits juxtaposed to a charming lady and provides cryptic, almost omniscient clues on future events. There is, however, a key difference between the two. Igor's good manners are the foundation of his character, always greeting his residents with the courtesy you expect from a butler or host. He seems to truly care about those who enter his room and acts for the benefit of humanity, without directly interfering. Whilst the Arm's actions are almost the complete opposite. While it is true he provides a FBI agent with a clue here and there to apprehend the show's antagonist, he may only be doing so to appease his own dark agenda. We know from the 1992 movie Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me that the Arm devours humans' pain and sorrow, which sounds great on paper, but in practice his actions are far from beneficial. Instead of releasing humans from their pain and soothing their hearts, it's implied in this film that the Arm has some role in causing the despair of humans. But even attributing basic concepts like morality to the Arm may be a wasted effort, as the spirits of the Black Lodge are likely so outside our scope of understanding, they see the humans of Twin Peaks' world like we in our world view the bacteria in tap water, which is to say not at all. But the Arm is not the only spirit in the world of Twin Peaks. There is the woodsman, Bob, the Biddy and her grandson, and lastly, the jumping man. There he was. I did it. I found the movie with the other Igor. Not only did I rediscover the source of some childhood trauma, but given his placement amongst the other spirits, it's not a stretch to think his snout could very well have been the inspiration for Igor's lengthy nose. As for what the jumping man does in the context of Twin Peaks' world, well, he jumps and yells, and that's two things Igor definitely doesn't do, while by no means a confirmation. This would not have been the first time series designer Kazuma Kaneko has borrowed from David Lynch's work. So as the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. Also, Fire Walk With Me sold more tickets in Japan than in America, so Kaneko definitely saw that crap. You can't tell me he didn't, bro. So we've established Kaneko cribs from Twin Peaks often, but is that the only source of Igor's appearance? I had my doubts. Despite feeling accomplished, I discovered the true identity of the jumping man that haunted my core memories. I continued to search for the source of Igor's other defining features. So I started to view popular Western media that was also a hit in Japan to see if I could discover a pattern. And I did. I found the character Riff Raff of Rocky's Horror Picture Show shared a similar build and hairdo to Persona's mascot, and that Young Frankenstein's depiction of the character also had similar eyes to the Persona version. Sadly, I could not find a source of why Igor's phone resembles a phallus. After completing my movie marathon, I was still not satisfied, as this was just one manic fan's conspiracy theory. Convincing, but far from concrete. It wasn't until when I ordered some rare Persona books from Japan that I noticed I'd missed something. Something big. In the 1998 Persona spin-off, Megami Bunroku Digital Collection for the Windows 95 personal computer. Included in the box is a lengthy interview with the creators of the first Persona. In said interview, when asked if Igor is based on anything in particular, Kazuma Kaneko replies with, "You could say he's not unlike a character who appears in Osamu Tezuka's work." Great! On one hand, I was thrilled to finally have a real source, something tangible for once. But the clue was also brief and vague. For those unfamiliar with his works, Tezuka is known as the godfather of manga, being the inspiration for many of Japan's greatest, which likely includes Kazuma Kaneko. He also has over 40 years of work to pour through, and I'm looking for a singular character based on nothing but one offhand comment. Which character was Kaneko referring to? Was it a character from Astro Boy? Kimba, the White Lion? Or was Igor based on Buddha? This process took me 3 agonizing years! Nah, I'm just messing with you. Surprisingly, this was the easiest discovery yet. I knew right away who Kaneko was referring to. And it's Spider, who isn't just from one of Tezuka's manga, but many. He's a small little long-nosed bald creature who's often seen sliding into frame while saying his catchphrase of "here to meet ya," and is quickly discarded. He's more of a cameo character or a visual trademark for the author, rather than a character tied to one specific storyline. For example, in the New World of Lulu, he's the Count's butler, and in Blackjack he appears in one panel as a mailman and never shows up again. But in all depictions, he's a bald creature with a long nose, not too different from our Igor. So what have we learned? Igor is a Twin Peaks-esque figure who takes elements from Frankenstein, and his long nose is inspired from a background character from Osamu Tezuka, which is almost no new information. Crud. Sure, I was super upset after wasting all that time researching and spending all that money importing books just to come up empty-handed. But I was also really confused. For as long as I've been a fan of the Persona games, I've been reading on message boards. Igor is a doll brought to life by Philemon. Igor is old, but he's not actually human. He was created by Philemon. He's a doll created by Philemon to guide exceptional individuals. Again, he's a doll created by Philemon. This references his origin as a doll created by Philemon. Doll created by Philemon. Oh, this time he's a puppet made by Philemon. Okay. And the source for this information are the Persona drama CDs. Yeah, that's not true. Like at all. So where did this info come from? Was it just a baseless rumor propagated over the years until it became fact? Or does Igor actually have an origin story? The truth lies in what I believed for years to be nothing more than a strategy guide. Persona World Guidance. Hence me never ordering it. But in an internal punishment walkthrough from 2002, a die-hard fan actually details the contents of the book. It's not just a strategy guide, but a compendium of background information on the first 3 Persona games assembled by atlus staff members. So I imported the thing and started digging. World Guidance has lots of cool info inside. Since the early Persona games didn't have a compendium like in recent titles, this was the substitute, to read about the mythological background for the game's personas and demons. But that's only one chapter. In the section labeled Encyclopedia Britannica is a detailed description on almost everything in Persona, even the most insignificant NPCs, including Igor. In one of his entries, it says that Igor's nose has grown in length from Persona 1 to Persona 2, and that everyone who enters the Velvet Room notices it, but never brings it up. It also talks about the bone phone a little, and on another page, there it was. At long last, Igor's actual origins, not hearsay or rumor, but a genuine source. The entry reads, Igor, Philemon's servant, who is the owner of the Velvet Room and the Persona's administrator. As you can see from his strange appearance, Igor is not human. They were originally a doll made by someone and given a secret ritual to be granted consciousness. He is constantly debating whether he is human or a doll, and vows only to leave the Velvet Room when this question is answered. To compound this information, we also have this dialogue from Persona 3, The Answer, referencing this origin story.
Ah, a very rare guest indeed. Are you a simulacrum or in fact human? It seems your destiny is similar to mine.
And to my knowledge, this is the only concrete lore ever recorded for Persona's mascot. But even this small passage contains a mystery all its own. Who is this mysterious somebody granting dolls human emotion? Logically, we can eliminate one suspect, as the manner in which the paragraph was written would point to Philemon not being his creator. As in one line, they address Philemon directly, but imply the ritualist is someone else entirely, dispelling the notion that Philemon is only Igor's superior and not his creator like many have stated. Then who? Well, I have a theory. Let's turn our attention over to Atlus's other Megami Tensei spin-off, Devil Summoner. In these Devil Summoner games, the Igor equivalent is one Victor von Frankenstein, and his Velvet Room is an ever-changing laboratory named the Gomaden. Persona and Devil Summoner have a bit of a brother-sister relationship, as both games were developed in tandem in the late 90s. So is Victor the somebody that performed a ritual creating Igor? One would think so. Despite the two being from separate franchises, their names could not be mere coincidence, but it goes even deeper than that. In the game Soul Hackers, there is an obscure side quest revolving around another doll given life, Victor's maid, Mary. In the game, if you continue to converse with Mary, she will gradually open up to the player, explaining more about herself and her master.
Hey, I've been wondering for a while, what's with Victor's experiments anyway?
I myself do not know the reason behind them, so I cannot say anything. But there is something Master Victor said to me once. I can figure out how God made the demon body as well as the human one. However, I still have no understanding as to how he created the heart. Perhaps the human heart was created by humanity itself. Mary, I'm sure that you will be able to help me find the answer to that. I do not know what he was talking about, but for some reason, that conversation is a vivid memory for me.
If the player speaks to her after each major story event and exhausts all her dialogue, eventually you will enter the Gomaden and see Victor with Mary in the lobby. You have the chance to escort Mary around town as she runs some errands. During this easily skipped side quest, you learn that Mary also has the same dilemma as Igor, not understanding if they are truly alive or not. The cast give their opinion on the matter, stating clearly that Mary does in fact have a soul. You return to the Gomaden, and you're rewarded with a single glance of a smiling Mary, having found the answer to her question and expressing gratitude to the player. In many ways, Igor and Mary share similarities, both being assistants, both being dolls, and both having an inner struggle to understand their place in the world. While we can't say for certain that Victor is his creator, I've yet to find anything to say the contrary, other than the fact that these two characters are from separate franchises, and Atlus likely does not look to a 26-year-old Saturn RPG when doing the world building for the latest Persona game. Also, the idea that the weird elf dude from Soul Hackers could possibly share an area code with the Persona crew is not just jarring, but insanely weird. But old Persona was weird, and they likely did at some point in time play with the idea of joint continuity, given the references to Devil Summoner and the Kuzunoha clan appearing in Persona 2, Innocent Sin. It's impossible to tell where the line between Easter egg and deliberate world-building device end. And with many of the key individuals behind these games having left Atlus, we may never reach a conclusive answer on the matter. But Mary did reach a happy conclusion to her arc. But what about Igor? Has he found his answer as well? I think so, and I have evidence to support my claim. During the optional boss fight with Igor's assistant, Elizabeth in Persona 3, she states the following.
I have long sought an understanding of who I am, just as you and my master have done. Those who set foot in the Velvet Room are all destined to embark on this search for identity.
Implying plainly that Igor's journey is still ongoing, and still part of his character. But if we remember what's stated in Persona World Guidance, his absence on occasion from the Velvet Room in some Persona games may have a more positive meaning than we once thought. Igor, whether he is man or doll, heartless or full of life, he may very well be on his own journey when he steps out from his room of blue. I'd like to think so anyways. After all, I think he's earned it, taking such great care of the protagonists on their journey and fusing so many personas free of charge. I want to believe that Igor's out there, in our world, enjoying himself, and maybe one day he could reunite with his long-lost sister and father.
Oh, hey, what's up? Welcome to the Velvet Room. This is the part of the video where I thank all of my generous patrons. Oh, that's right, I don't have any. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, consider becoming a patron today. You'll gain access to a fan Discord where you can directly interact with me, sneak peeks of upcoming content, bonus behind the scenes footage, and your name will appear in the credits in videos just like this one. In the near future, I'll be focusing on heavily edited content geared towards role-playing games such as Persona and other franchises I've never touched on here on this YouTube channel. And, well, your generous contributions will assist me in not starving. In addition to my standard video game content, I intend to broaden my horizons and expand into the world of video essays, revolving around video games. As not every game I dream of covering fits into my usual gameplay walkthrough style. My next video subject has already been chosen, and if you enjoyed this video, you're really going to like that one. And that's all I'll say for now. This short video essay was a proof of concept, so patrons would know what they are funding. But if you can't contribute, don't worry, the video will come out regardless. I don't intend to gatekeep any of my content from people that have supported me for so long. Click the link down below and become a patron today. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. More videos coming soon. Bye.